Hey, foodies, and welcome back to a super special episode of the Booze Dessert Smoke and Meat podcast. I am your host, the Meat Viking, my wonderful co host.
Professor Porkloin.
And in today's episode, we go over my hometown. Well, not town specifically, but my home state of Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah. And we've both lived in this lavish hellhole of the state for quite some time.
Yeah, well, you a little bit longer, but I definitely spent a decent chunk
Mhm.
out there. So
Do you have anything nice to say about Ohio?
fucking flat.
Yeah. I don't know if that's nice.
Uh, I
So,
mean, it could be worse, right?
yeah. We
Could
do have,
be heroin.
yeah, well, that's up there. Like Ohio's not known for a lot of good things. And that will lead us into our safe word, which today is Manson, because we have two famous Mansons from Ohio. Neither one of them are good.
Yeah. Oh God, this is already starting off to be great.
Yeah, you know it. So, but I will say this because of the German and Polish immigration that came through and settled in Ohio, we do have some good food.
Yeah, there is some pretty good food.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll admit that there's some of that.
So, and in fact, I actually want to lead us off with something that we have talked about before, but it has an Ohio twist on it, and that is the pierogi.
True.
So, Parma, Ohio is a working class neighborhood of approximately 80,000 residents, nearly half of whom have roots that stretch back to Eastern European countries such as Hungary, Poland, Slovakia, and Slovenia, which, as we know now, that is where the pierogi is king. So most of the houses still possess at least one family member who can fashion a few dozen pierogi in a jiff. But why bother when you're in the area? You should just go to Perla Pierogies. So it's the best pierogi anybody will tell you. Sports a gossamer thin wrapper as opposed to those thick and gummy exteriors. Um, Perla starts with the dough that is stretched to its delicate limit before adding a dozen different fillings, like, and I quote, potato, potato and sauerkraut, potato and cheddar, potato cheddar and bacon. So each dumpling is pinched and pressed by hand and parboiled, leaving just a minute in a hot pan with butter and onions. So if you
Dude,
want
let's
if you want a potato pierogi, Parma, Ohio is the place you need to go.
now I have not enjoyed that pierogi.
I have not
Um,
either.
but that sounds just glorious to have
Yeah.
those fillings. But
Mm-hmm.
let's go back to what you said before about how all those things are made by hand. Like, fuck that.
Oh yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
just seems like that's way too much work, man, for a bunch of pierogies. Because you know that place probably sells a shit ton a day,
Oh yeah. And like
right? You probably
if we
got
look
some
at
grandma in the back.
yeah, if we look at other things that are like done by hand, you got like your ravioli pasta, which is done by like either Uncle Tony or Tony's grandma, who should be legally dead 10 years ago, but somehow is still alive and kicking, just busting out ravioli like it's nobody's problem. Or another thing that you and I both love that is done by hand and takes hours upon hours, the tamale.
Yeah. Oh man.
So,
And we've mentioned the tamale before too, so
yeah.
because you told every one of our listeners that fancy story of your of yours with the tamale.
Yep. So, do you think that I want to word this correctly? That if they could license like Uncle Tony's grandma had as the secret ingredient on one of those pierogi recipes, you think they would do it?
Probably.
Yeah, because like I don't know if you've made pasta by hand before, especially a pasta that you have to stuff. Not an easy job.
Yeah, I've made pasta before, and I've made spaghetti, fettuccine. I've done like the penne and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I remember doing as a kid, like seeing my grandmother put together, the raviolis and whatnot, and it's like, damn, that's labor intensive. Fuck that.
Hmm. Yeah, dude. Like I can barely do the hand-eye coordination to draw a stick figure. If I have to go ahead and delicately make ravioli, those things are going to be more varied in shape and size than a can of alphabet soup.
Well, on the flip side, though, I mean, I think it gives it a little bit of some character that they're not all the same size and shape, right?
Yeah, I mean, like that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, somebody's got their like 8-year-old nephew cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, so I I've been to a couple places in Ohio, but obviously spent a lot of my time in Toledo and like the surrounding area up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you're talking about the Hungarian and the Polish influence, but it totally just brings me back to Tony Pacos, man.
Oh yeah, the Hungarian hot dog.
Yeah. So people who haven't had that, I mean, apparently this dude's been doing it since like 1930 something.
Mm-hmm.
Started out with like a single hot dog stand, and it kind of just grew into that. And it's one of those Glass City things that if you're ever going through Toledo, because I think it's only found in Toledo and in those surrounding areas. I don't think it's like a statewide thing, is it?
I believe you are correct on that.
So for any of the listeners, if you get a chance to check that out, I mean, you're gonna have some awesome hot dogs up that way. And like the guy's pretty famous too. Has had a bunch of celebrities and whatnot come down and they freaking sign hot dogs and displays them and whatnot. So I think that's kind of funny. But it's right off of 75, which God, I gotta ask you, is that still under construction?
Oh yeah, dude. 75 has been under construction since I've been born. Okay.
I mean, I remember what was this 2010-ish around that time, and 75 is just a nightmare going up there. So it's still under construction. That's freaking wild.
Yeah. So, interesting note on Tony Paco's, right? There are 3 locations in Toledo. There's a
Okay.
location in Sylvania and a location in Maumee. Now, Sylvania and Maumee, if Toledo was a bigger city, say like Houston, Sylvania and Maumee could pretty much be considered suburbs. Would you agree to that statement?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe not so. We'll go with that because Mommy is farther south and Sylvania is a little bit north there. So
I
yeah, if it was a bigger city, I could see that as being suburbs of Toledo, which I think people do say it is though.
yeah. I mean, from where I live, I can drive to Sylvania and to Maumee by going 2 different directions and get there in under 10 minutes.
Yeah, I would think you're probably a little bit closer to Sylvania, but
Dude, I have to be closer to Maumee.
oh shit, okay.
Well, at least I think so because it's a simpler drive.
Yeah.
So, like it's to get out of my neighborhood, it's a right turn, a straight for like 3 stoplights, and then another right turn. And then I just take that and then I'm there.
All right, fair enough.
So,
But
but interesting enough, there are retail locations where you could actually buy Tony Paco products. I see some in California, some in Arizona. It looks like there's one spot in Nevada, a couple of places in Florida, but for the most part, it is indeed like the tri-state area kind of thing.
it is indeed a surrounding Michigan, Ohio, and I guess Indiana if people want to drive the 40 something minutes if they're right there by the border.
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't know is apparently it was featured on the TV show MASH.
What?
Yeah, it was featured on the TV show MASH. I didn't know that,
Huh.
but that's pretty cool. And then I mean, I've been to this place, but I didn't even realize it until later on. But it's been on Divers and Drives as well. So I've been to a couple of those. There was one in South Carolina that I went to.
Nice.
When we get to that state, I could probably talk a little bit more about that one. But I mean, if you like Guy Fieri or you don't like him, I mean, he still goes around and does some pretty cool stuff. And that it's the fact that it was on Triple D, I'm like, I've been there.
I'm going to make a controversial statement here.
Okay.
People who dislike Guy Fieri are people who are extremely unhappy with their life. Because how are you going to hate on a 50-year-old dude that has frosted tips and like old t-shirt, well, Hawaiian style t-shirt with flames on it? Like that dude's just out there living his best life and enjoying food. How are you going to be a hater?
True.
So,
Now, it's been a hot minute since I've been there. So, when was the last time that you went, if you can remember?
so we actually from the meat market that I go to, we saw they had some Tony Paco's hot dogs, and so we picked them up and we had them like last week.
Okay, but going to Tony Paco's though, when was the last time you actually went into the store?
Yeah, probably a year or two.
Okay, because I was gonna say, how do you like your taco or your hot dog? How do you like? Do you get it with the chili? Do you get
I
it with
get it
the
with the chili.
onions? I mean, okay, so you just do like the original hot dog?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say
Yeah.
this, and you can agree to disagree on this if you want, but chili is the superior ingredient or condiment to put on a hot dog.
Oh, 100%.
So,
Little messy, but I mean, if I'm gonna get a hot dog, like I already have decided that that's what's gonna happen.
yeah. See,
So
in Ohio, we do things right. Like, we'll put chili on top of stuff. And if you were to get a hot dog in California, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to put avocado on that bastard.
they probably would.
So,
Now, I do have to ask you this one because I know this is a little bit more popular too, but it's also a Toledo-ish thing. Is the rival to Tony Paco's, and that's Nettie's. I
okay.
mean,
Look,
we used to live next to a really
all
close
right.
to a Nettie's.
Nettie's, and I'm going to say this with the utmost respect, it is the broke man's Tony Paco's.
Eh,
Okay.
they
Now,
got some good ice cream, I'll tell
yeah,
you that.
I would exactly what I was going to hit it up with. If you are in the mood for like two passing chili dogs, but you really want some ice cream, Nettie's isn't bad. You know, like two chili dogs and get yourself like oh hell, what are they called there? They're not called blizzards like Dairy Queen calls them. Do you remember what they're called?
Oh
Nibbler.
no.
Nibbler.
Yeah,
Nettie
Nibbler. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. Dude, I remember when you and I lived next to each other, it would be like a $7 meal for two hot dogs and a large nibbler.
Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, yeah. Now inflation, okay, it's probably closer to like $30.
But Tony Paco's is open all year round though, isn't it?
Yes,
Whereas Nettie's, they close for the winter.
which is okay.
Coming from you, yeah.
Yeah. So
But now, isn't there a third one around that area too? Isn't it Johnny's hot dog stand?
I never went to Johnny's, so I cannot speak on Johnny's behalf.
Yeah, I can't speak on that one either because I always went to Tony Paco's or Nettie's, but I swear I knew there was a Johnny's hot dog stand. I think it was up there by that Walmart.
Yeah. I don't know. Not worth mentioning. You fucked up, Johnny. Either your
Oh man.
price to hot dog ratio was off or nobody cared enough about you to tell either me or the professor. So, chew on that one for a while.
Oh yeah. Well,
So
it is what it is.
I think it's time, especially because we're talking about chili dogs, to go from the good to the controversial.
What are you gonna send out there, man?
Skyline chili.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep. So I pulled up a locations thing, and they are essentially, you can get them in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and for some reason in Florida. So not sure what had happened there. Skyline chili essentially is famous for serving chili on top of spaghetti.
Yeah, there's a little difference there between like getting a meat sauce and then there's fucking chili on a spaghetti.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if I've gone to the Skyline Chili's that just had pissed off employees, but I've never had good Skyline chili. Have you?
No.
Okay. I mean, it's got to be okay somehow. People eat it. They are in business.
I mean, someone's got to like it.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Listeners, I think that it's got to be one of those things of why are you even going to try it?
Yeah.
Don't bother with it.
I will say, in defense of Skyline, they put an astronomical amount of cheese on top of that chili. And I got a quick Google image pulled up here. I'm about to screen share with everybody of an example of how they serve this. And this right here is not heresy. This is fact, okay? Like, that
Yeah,
is
that's a lot
a
of cheese.
mountain of cheese. And they also do their coney dogs this way too. Like, just
They do.
absolute mountains of cheese. And there you can see, like, you've got your actual chili. It's not meat sauce on top of the spaghetti. You see your onion, your probably some kidney bean. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I only made it to Cincinnati a couple times, so like I like went there just because it was like, oh, it's one of those things you got to do, but it wasn't my favorite. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So,
I really will say this. Most of the big cities in Ohio, unless you're going to Cedar Point, Kings Island, a museum, or a local zoo, aren't worth it. Except for, of course, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I believe the Football Hall of Fame is in Ohio too.
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not wrong. Like, in all of the cities that are big cities here, crime is through the roof. There are bad neighborhoods everywhere, and honestly, it's just not like the best place to live.
But you're still living there because man, you'll do better in Toledo.
Right? That's actually the catchphrase of Toledo.
I know. That's what I said. You'll do better. But oh my god. Yeah, wherever. I mean, Columbus, obviously, you have Ohio State, you know, Toledo, the Rockets, you got OU, and then there's nothing in between. Like, if you're driving on 80 going out like towards Indiana, there's freaking nothing
Yep.
until you get to a exit. It's like, oh, yeah, here's Cuyahoga Falls. And then, oh, you got nothing for another 40 miles. And then it's like, oh, here's wherever. So that's basically the whole state of Ohio. And I did that drive, man. And the thing that that I hated that sucked about being on the western side of western side of Ohio was that, man, you didn't have some of the cool ass shit like Wawa or Sheets. You had to wait until you got all the way into Pennsylvania for those things. But I know one thing that obviously Ohio is known for, and I mean, this is going to be on the dessert side. And I think we hinted at it the last couple episodes, but I know that uh, these things are just delicious. And if you can make them, I'd say find a recipe and totally do it. But it takes a lot of freaking peanut butter to have it, man. And it's the state flower, isn't it? Or the state mascot,
Yes, the Buckeye.
the Buckeye. So for all the Ohio State fan people, like, yeah, Buckeyes. But man, these desserts are delicious.
They are.
They're just super time consuming too to make.
They also are because you have to make them peanut butter balls just right, and then you got to get that chocolate that you dip that peanut butter ball like 3/4 of the way into, and then you got to hold it there, and then you got to move it to your wax paper. It is a chore, but it is delicious. And
Yeah,
there are
because you
some
gotta,
places, man, and I kid you not, they'll make Buckeyes the size of your palm.
yeah. And you'll also pay an arm and a leg for one of those too.
Yep.
But I remember the first time that I heard of a Buckeye and when I moved out that way, and I'm like, what the fuck is this stuff? Like, what the hell's a Buckeye? And obviously, everyone from Ohio is like, what? You don't know what a Buckeye is? I'm like, bro, I'm not from Ohio. And man, it lived up to its taste because I popped like 4 or 5 of those things in my mouth. It's like, this is delicious.
They
But I
are.
think it's something with the powdered sugar. I think it's when you're making the peanut butter balls, you got to add the powdered sugar to it, and it's like that certain ratio that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also freezing the balls make it a little bit easier to dip into that chocolate.
Yeah.
But I know around the holiday times, people make those things as ways to give out as gifts to neighbors and whatnot, and they do cookies and everything. But holy shit, I remember when when a girl I was dating, man, she made like freaking 10 dozen of those things, and they were just all over the house.
But they were delicious.
Oh yeah.
So
So, but I don't know if there's any like historical thing about Buckeyes and how they came about, right?
I don't remember if research proves fruitful later on, because I have a feeling that Ohio's already going to be a 2 to 3 part episode.
Oh,
We
for
can
sure.
do a deep dive.
Well, I mean, I guess it's basically just a regional favorite.
Yeah.
So, you know what? If that's one thing that Ohio's got and go for them is having a Buckeye, and it's like, all right, you can keep that.
That's true. Actually, I'm gonna pull up an image here for everybody to show them what Buckeyes look like. So I can tell right now that with the chocolate drizzle right here and just that reflective shrine, these Buckeyes are probably just getting ready to set,
Yeah,
and they are delicious. And I think you mentioned it, is that they are based off of a real life thing found in Ohio,
yeah, the
which is
nut,
the
right?
nut. Yeah. And I believe they're poisonous.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Ow. Yeah. Buckeye nuts are poisonous because they contain glycoside acetylene, another one, and other alkaloids. So the Buckeye tree is a poisonous tree, and most of the plant is poisonous. So
F that.
apparently you can eat the nuts, but not when they're raw. So probably somebody was like, I'm going to trick my children into eating these nuts, but I'm going to make them super tasty.
So I guess some people in Ohio, or maybe people who aren't part of Ohio, called it a candy, a Buckeye candy.
I could see that. It's very sweet, but when I think candy, I'm not gonna lie, I think of like mass produced candy or oh my god, what's the name of it? Hardtack. I think a hardtack. Do you?
Yeah, I don't see that as being a candy. I
Hardtack?
see it as being no, the Buckeye.
Oh yeah. No, I see this as being a dessert.
Yeah, I see it as being a dessert too, because you can. It's like a finger food dessert. You can
Yeah.
eat three or four of those things. You know, I don't see it as being a candy.
Yeah.
But well, there's another one that I didn't realize, and I think this is kind of cool to think about, and it also goes along with the dessert, and it's a Klondike bar. Did you know that?
They're made in Ohio?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah, man. I had no idea that Klondike bar was made in Ohio.
Hmm.
And it's funny because you know, obviously you remember that as a kid, like what would you do for a Klondike bar? Like
Oh yeah.
everyone knows that whole thing. Um, but I I find it super cool that that was made in Ohio. And where was it? Um, it doesn't say where, but it was by a dairy farmer.
Hmm.
And essentially, what they wanted to do is they wanted to make sure that you can eat ice cream with one hand. So it's the ice cream and then they dip it into that chocolate.
Mm.
So and they got the name actually from the gold rush in Alaska in the late 1890s.
Ah.
So it was it's in Columbus is where it was.
Hmm.
Then Good Humor Briars continued that production under that name for the Briars ice cream.
Nice. So,
But it's been around for over 100 years, man. Klondike bar.
mm, makes me want to go to the store and get some Klondike bars. So,
Yeah,
how
but you know what I always hated about Klondike bars though is that yeah, the whole thing is that they wanted you to eat the ice cream without it, you know, melting or getting in, only doing it with one hand. That shit freaking melts everywhere if you don't eat it fast enough.
that's true. That is a very messy
Even
thing.
with the aluminum foil or whatever the hell's the covering for it,
Yep.
like that shit gets everywhere. So, but I mean, I guess it begs the question though, man. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
I can't say that on YouTube. I'll get canceled. I'll tell you what though. What is one thing that you and I both love?
I mean,
It
that could
starts
be.
with a K.
Oh, geez, I was thinking way many other things there. I don't know what starts with a K that we both like.
Kolaches.
Oh yeah, do they? Is that really a big thing up there though?
I'm about to blow your mind on this because this is something that I found out, and I'm actually rather heated that nobody's told me that Ohio does this sooner. They do dessert kolaches with ice cream on top.
Oh shit, where the hell can you find that at?
Swick, Ohio, which I believe is, and it is. There's a couple of ways that they do them. They either do it with like poppy seed and nuts, or they'll do a jammed and mashed fruit mixture. Then they coat that in powdered sugar, and then they throw ice cream on top.
Okay,
Yeah,
get behind that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's south of Cleveland, so a little bit of a ride there from where you're at, but
Honestly, be worth it.
now can you get different things with it, like besides what you just said, or is that the only option that you can have?
I'm gonna assume you could do like different varieties. Say you wanted like an apple filled kolache with ice cream on top, or if you wanted like half peach, half apricot, half cherry, half blueberry. I think really the choice is going to be up to you. This is just one of the things that I pulled up and I'm kind of glancing at here. But if I go to the recipe real quick, so here it calls for 2 cups buttered softened, a pint of vanilla ice cream softened, 4 cups all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 cans, 12 ounces each of apricot and or raspberry cake pastry filling, and then 1 to 2 tablespoons of confectioner sugar. So really, your takeaway here, if you want to change this recipe, you can change around the vanilla ice cream, and I would say any kind of cake or pastry filling you could put in on that. So I'm about to blow your taste buds mind, right? Okay. Chocolate on one side.
All right.
You with me?
Yep.
Boston cream on the other.
Yeah, I can get down with that for sure.
Yeah, yeah. All the fat people, us included here. All right. They just got the food sweats from that thought. I might have to tell the wife I'm not going to work tomorrow. I got to go to Brunswick and get me some kolaches.
Be worth the ride, man.
It would be. So, but I think we've done settled today's sweet tooth a little bit. Why don't we go on to something a little bit more hearty,
What's the hearty thing, man? What do you got?
known as Goetta hash.
Okay, I never had a chance to have any of that.
So it is. We've had similar stuff to this for sure.
Yeah.
It is pork and beef parts, so whatever parts you want, oats and spices, and you put that all into like a sausage-like log, and then you slice that down and you brown it.
Speaking language there. That
Yeah,
sounds freaking delicious.
yeah.
Have you had any of that before or no? Or
I've
just
had
stuff similar?
I've had similar. Um,
Okay.
Bob Evans, right?
Oh yeah, good old Bobby Evans.
Yeah, they do skillets very similar to this. And one of theirs that I really like is like a pot roast hash that's got like beef in it. It just doesn't have it all like cut into that sausage log and then torn up. You know what I mean? So,
That's
but
something we can talk about too. I mean, good old Bob Evans, man. That's an Ohio company.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was founded in Gallipolis, Ohio, which I don't know where the hell that is.
I don't know. I thought
But
those were an
now,
island somewhere with big ass iguanas.
where the hell is this? It's about 55 miles southeast of Chillicothe. So you're
Oh,
like
okay.
right by the West Virginia border.
Yeah.
But the headquarters now is in New Albany.
Oh, nice.
So, but yeah, Bob Evans. I mean, I got that first shot when I was in Toledo as well, and I mean they have some decent breakfast foods, and actually they have some pretty good like salads and shit too.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting what the hell was that one salad? Uh,
Was it their Cobb salad?
no, I think it was the Southwest salad.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I'm gonna look up the menu real quick just because I want to see.
No
Oh
worries.
no, no, it's not it.
Well, I think one thing here that we can't fail to mention without mentioning Bob Evans is the fact that this is the only place that I know of where you can buy like whole loaves of banana nut bread right at the checkout counter.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And like whole pies, you want a whole pie after you've already like stuffed your plate with breakfast? Go ahead, just buy a whole pie. Take that home with you. But their banana bread is on point.
It's the wildfire chicken salad. Did you
Okay.
ever have that one? It's got the tortilla strips. The tortilla
Man,
strips.
honestly,
It's
if
got
I'm
the
having a
wildfire
salad, it's
sauce.
because I am trying to lose weight, and I haven't tried to lose weight in a long time.
Fair enough. But oh man, yeah, they have a lot of other stuff on the bakery. I mean, their peanut butter pie, oh, that was to die for. And you're
Mm-hmm.
right, just having the freaking banana nut bread that you can buy. And they got like chocolate chip cookies and dinner rolls that you can buy right
Oh
there
yeah.
at the. It's yeah, Bob Evans is one of those things that you're not going to go super wrong with stopping off at that place.
Nah. About once a month actually. Uh, on a Sunday, the wife and I will go there early in the morning before the church crowds and get a breakfast. So now I will say it's a relatively newer edition, but they do. I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they cook them and then they just serve them in there, or if they cook them in the skillet. But they do these like cinnamon triangles, and they're served in this little tiny cast iron skillet with some frosting on the side. Ooh, ooh, like you can eat it and you can feel cavities forming in your mouth, but it is worth every bite.
That's freaking great.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a so we already talked about Massachusetts, but there's a similar um, style of restaurant that I used to go to as a kid in Pennsylvania, and I guess I could bring it up again too. But Friendlies, have you ever been to a Friendlies before? Or even heard of one of those?
Mm-mm.
They're like your East Coast version of Bob Evans.
Okay.
So they have like sandwiches and they have the burgers and the soups and salads and whatnot, but you can also get ice cream from them too. So
Ooh, yum.
it's it's kind of similar to like, oh yeah, you can get your banana nut bread at Bob Evans, but over here you can get, a double scoop of ice cream or a milkshake or whatever. You can get cakes too. But that's kind of what it also reminds me of is because you can pick up lunch, dinner, breakfast, and they have some pretty good stuff. But that's one of those things that I think is comparable. But they were made in Massachusetts, so it doesn't really matter about that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Trying to think of some other places in Toledo that had some really good food. I mean,
Uh, as far, I mean, we're gonna go back to the sweet tooth here, but it would be a sin worthy of divorce if I did not mention Mr. G's barn.
where was that at?
It's off of Hill and McCord.
Is that close to the what the hell is that other place where you can get pies from?
I don't know.
Man, once when I look it up and find it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah.
It's all good. Now, I kid you not, Mr. G's barn, their ice cream is so good that they actually got fined by the city of Toledo for causing traffic problems because the lines were so long. Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you're gonna talk about Mr. G's barn, which I never got to that one because I found it now, um, but I never went there, and it looks super cool. It looks like it would be a cool ice cream place to pick up.
Hmm. What was it
I don't know
called?
why I never
Oh,
went.
Mr. G's.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying the name of your other place that you just found.
Oh no, I have that too. Actually, there's two places, and the first one I feel like you kind of have to talk about too is Shivers.
I never went to Shivers.
You never went to Shivers?
Mm-mm.
That was off of Key Street.
Okay, yeah.
I guess it
Key Street's in Maumee, though, right?
probably,
I think
but it's
so.
still in Ohio.
Well, yeah, but like, you know,
Yeah.
I could fucking no scope Mr. G's if I wanted to. Like, let's
It's
be
pretty
real
close
here.
to her. what uh what other shit do they have on their menu?
They've got
Like What they do cyclones and stuff like that, or is it
Yeah,
kind of like
they
Dairy
do
Queen?
cyclones, they do milkshakes. Their soft serve is super good. They also have food. So like they've got probably better chili dogs than Nettie's, I would say. Um,
Okay.
cause well, like I being as close as I am to Mr. G's, why would I go to Nettie's? You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
So if Nettie's like scalped an employee for Mr. G's and had them fix their chili dogs, I wouldn't know that. So, um, they also got really good pulled pork sandwiches. So, but they do like a I can't remember if it's straight coffee or if it's mocha, but they do like a mocha or a coffee milkshake that is on point. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, then this other one, then man, I know you've been to this place, and I guess again, Sweet Tooth, you can't be remiss without mentioning it. And I mean, I have gotten some of this stuff from here too, but Handles,
Yep. Handles is
that,
good. So Handles ice cream, you say? I have had that.
yeah.
It is
Oh
good.
man, and it's handmade too, homemade. Like I just remember going there because someone, who the hell was it? Was it Kit? Or someone else at school was like, "Oh man, you've never had Handles before." I'm like, "What the hell is this place?" You know, like I just moved there, so
Mm-hmm.
obviously I had no idea. And they're like, "Oh, you need to go to Handles."
Yep.
Like, okay, cool. And um, someone bought it like a Buckeye cake from them, and
Ooh.
that was pretty damn good too. But the ice cream, I mean, they have got a lot of freaking flavors. Don't they have like over 45 or something?
I would have to check. It's been a minute.
It's been what is it? Baskin Robbins 32 flavors or whatever. They've got way more than that.
Yeah. 45 flavors.
Yeah, 45.
Some of which are cinnamon sticky bun, peppermint bark, black walnut, blue moon, rocky mocha blast, caramel
I
pretzel
like the
crunch.
Oreo.
Yeah, yeah. Chocolate
Or
raspberry truffle.
yeah, chocolate chunk I think was probably my favorite too.
Yeah. Monkey business, for those of you who like banana, would be like banana cake batter ice cream with caramel ripple and brownie pieces. So
Now, did they have over 100 at some point?
I
They probably
honestly I
have over the
don't
years.
know.
They probably had over more than 45 flavors.
Yeah. So it looks like they have, and this is the wrong word, on tap 45 flavors every day. And you can actually go to their website, pick a location, check the list, and see what ideally what ice creams they have. So, and they also do catering and stuff too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they do some really good ice creams.
yeah. Now, due to time constraints, we're gonna have to kind of go soon, but we're gonna come back on a second part. However, I do want to mention a place that I grew up with when I lived in the hometown that did much of the ice cream stuff we're talking about now, and that would be Rocky Top. And
Okay.
there was another one in the Point Place. Fritzy Freeze in Point Place is also really good. And this is the first place that I heard of what's known as a grasshopper.
Not the alcoholic beverage.
No, but it is, what is it? Mint chocolate chip, but they cover it in like chocolate fudge.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Let me make sure that's right. That's the cocktail. Oh, my bad. It looks like It is mint chocolate chip with Oreo, and then some recipes will put like fudge on top. So
Down
yeah.
with that, man. Down with that. And you can't get that anymore, or is that the one that's up
Oh, it's
by
in
what did you say, Point Place?
yeah.
Okay.
So that used to be a spot that the wife and I would go to because it was close to where we were staying.
Yeah.
So
I remember that place that you used to live at. That was fucking far up there.
oh yeah. So in that tiny little duplex
Yep.
with my neighbor who had the same job as me on the exact same side.
Yep.
Yep. So shit.
Well, I think that gives us enough for episode 1, and I think listeners, you're definitely going to have an episode 2 and maybe a part 3.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that we had to not cover today because our sweet tooth kicked in.
Yeah, I feel like we talked a lot about sweet tooth stuff, which is fine, but there's going to
Yeah.
be some other things to talk about. So
Mhm. Oh, that's the sound. That's the warning bell.
that's the warning bell.
So go ahead and take us out.
Well, foodies, just thanks for listening to the Ohio episode number 1 with this, and me and the Meat Viking will get back to you in the next issue of the BDSM podcast. So I'm signing off, and I'm here with my awesome co-host.
The Meat Viking. See y'all in the next one.